August 29th is the day that Skynet, a man-made artificial intelligence program, became self-aware and annihilates most of humanity. This day is known as Judgment Day. Dun 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 dun. Welcome, YouTubers, to another video. So, if you all saw my video last week, you will saw that I was scammed by Resin GK on this particular statue. Now, since that video, someone reached out to me, knowing someone that actually was selling this piece. They lived in Las Vegas. I'm in Utah, and they drove it to my house. And now we have it. Unfortunately, it did not come without its issues, which I will go over in the video. I didn't really do an unboxing because it came totally bubble wrapped, and then there was issues, and then, you know, just lots of things. But here it is. I'm still trying to take it in, whether I love it, it's a regret, the damage is really annoying, at least the light up works. I'm gonna have to salvage what I can on the issues that are present. So this is Sideshow version 2, but it's not the exact same as the one they show in the video because it doesn't actually have pins that hold in the arms. And the arms come out quite easily, so I'm probably going to have to use some museum putty to ensure they stay in. But let's just go over the issues real quickly to get it out of the way. So this black base, the underbase, definitely has lots of like scratches. You know, none of this was disclosed to me, by the way. As far as I was aware, it was mint condition, what they told me. This back leg, basically this piece on that side of the leg came broke, and I had to stuff it with a bunch of paper and then glue it. It's not visible when, you know, looking at it, so that's not an issue. However, there is visible damage right here. I actually put a black thing, but that, there's supposed to be like a white, almost like a cap, and unfortunately it's on this side, not the other side, so it's visible. So I'm just putting a black cap to kind of like cover that so it's less visible, and I'll probably just paint it all black, all the resin. So that's the big major issue, is that, because I don't really have a way of fixing that. I don't have like a cap, you know. The only thing I could do is kind of just paint around it. Then when you come up to the upper body part, there's actually no damage, like this upper torso, but each arm had some serious damage. This one is missing a thumb right there. He didn't know where it was. He didn't know it was even broken. But that is obviously a major issue. At least it's on this arm where the thumb's not visible. This one, also the thumb was broken, so I had to glue it on. Now, it is hard to see the damage on the glue because I did a good glue job. However, there's also damage right there. And that tube thing was also like broken off. So I had to, I mean, I didn't even glue it, it's still stained, but if I was to look, I would visually see that. So that is an additional issue. In addition, the head also on the battery compartment has some chips right there. So that's not totally visible, you know, while looking at it. So in general, when looking at it, if I'm looking at it right here, I can't see any of these issues, which is a great thing. Now, because of these issues, I did subtract quite a bit off the price tag. So originally when I got scammed on this particular piece, it was $5,550 from Resin GK. Now, you know, he scammed me, obviously, and then I bought this one. The agreement was $5,000. They delivered it to me here in Utah. And upon seeing all these issues, of course, each issue I had to keep adding up in my mind how much it would cost in general to repair, you know, visual, you know, stuff. So at the end of the day, I subtracted $1,550. Originally it was $1,500, but he actually forgot the head and I had to go and get the head. And so because I had to go get it and there was damage, I subtracted an additional $50. So at the end of the day, this cost me $3,450. So not bad for a life size. I mean, this piece, Sideshow actually just raised the price by $450. So if I was to buy this brand new from Sideshow, it'd be $7,450 plus $500 in tax, so $8,000. And then usually they do free shipping on their life size, so But let's just say hypothetically they didn't. You're looking at least $500 to $800 in shipping cost. Possibly even $1,000 because it ships in 5 boxes. Now, of course, I would love to have a brand new one, but it is what it is. I can't find a brand new one. Sideshow is waitlisted. I've been waitlisted for 9 months now, and nothing. But here it is in the collection. So basically $3,500 is how much it cost me, which for a life-size statue is an incredible price. Now, in general, looking at the piece, it does kind of look like it has like a lean almost. Maybe it's just the pose because he's like walking. He's not just standing still. But his lean also varies on the arm placement. I feel like it's almost better if they're forward versus downward. The only problem with having the guns completely forward like this, it does block when I'm standing right here, at least, seeing the nun. Now, if I come right here, obviously I can still see the nun. Pennywise, she's underneath. Obviously, from this angle, I'm not seeing it, but if I want to see Pennywise like that. Now, for the most part, I'm not going to have this up here. I'm actually going to lower it. I'm just showing you right now because this is how they advertise this piece. And obviously, here's a comparison versus the T1 bust. This is not T2, it's T1, actually. So there is some subtle differences between the two, actually. The teeth are definitely different. The paint jobs are very, very similar. The way it connects is a little bit different, like some of the tubing and whatnot. But they're very similar, obviously. This one just is the full body, obviously, holding... These guns are massive, by the way. Like, holy Jupiter's frickin' cock. They are huge. Now, this piece was extremely dusty as well when I got it. The person who owned this was not a collector. They didn't know you had to dust statues, and that's a problem with non-collectors get statues. They don't know how to treat them. They end up damaging them. They're dusty. So I've been using that duster all over this thing, and I still need to air dust it, but it was extremely dusty. So note to people, please dust your collectibles. Alrighty, I had to make a few slight adjustments to the cable thing. So yeah, here is probably one of the best, I would say in general, poses. I like this, or one of the guns very high. But I like to have one gun forward, one back. It does help with because in general, the way you angle these guns distributes the weight, and so it helps with leaning. I feel like if you have both guns forward, it's slightly leaning forward, both guns back, it leans slightly back. You do it like this, and it doesn't look like it's leaning. Plus, it helps, in general, walking around. So I'll be keeping it like this. This also helps block that a little bit, so I don't, focus on it as much, The gun is kind of, like, angled slightly inwards into the body, which is accurate looking at the Sideshow unboxing. Now, this head is movable, so you can, display this how you want. I'll probably have it just slightly angled just like that. It does look great with the poster behind it, and I can see, for the most part, all the poster, especially at like this angle. I'm still not 100% happy how this gun is blocking part of the, obviously the Pennywise bases I cannot see at all. And then none, it's blocking when I'm standing right here, directly in front of it. So, I can always lower that gun as well, and then both guns are kind of downward pose. That would just be blocking part of Annabelle here, but at least I'd be able to see Pennywise, and it's less dangerous as well having this gun out, because this does make it super deep. Let me actually measure this, because I've never seen anyone measure this. Alrighty, so doing some measurements from, this is all the way pushed up against the wall, but there's, a little white thing. But basically from the wall to the tip of this gun is 50 inches. Yeah, that is super freaking deep. Now, obviously, if you lower it like this, you gain that depth completely back. Now, the base itself, Sideshow advertised this as 28 inches. And clearly this is more than 28 inches. This shelf alone is 24, so 28 would have been barely past it. Measuring it, it's 3 feet deep and a little over like 38 inches wide. So 38 by 36. Height is 70. It's 6'4". So 6'4". That's, I'm like 6'3" and 3/4. So it's technically slightly taller than me looking, in the mirror, sort of the poster. Yeah, it's definitely taller than me. It's actually probably more like 6'5". So definitely very big, definitely like a life size. Like if this is like the endoskeletons coming after you, you're going to be scared as hell at this thing. Now it does come with, this black bar thing and that, so you can completely surround it. But then it makes that width even further. This is an extra like 4 inches on each side, so an extra 8 inches. This is definitely the type of piece you're going to see at museums. When you go on the Terminator 3D ride and you see life-size endoskeletons, this is the type of statues you're seeing, is stuff like this. You generally don't see this in your everyday collector's house. So for that reason alone, I definitely love it. I do want to add an additional skull. There is quite a few skulls here on the base, but there's this big empty spot here. I want to add one. But the skulls do look pretty good. So you have, like this rock effect, which looks pretty decent. Skull there. Most of it is in the back, like he stepped on a skull. The back of his foot is actually in a skull eye, which is pretty cool. And then you have these two. But there's not much else going on right here. I feel like I could put a full skull right there and it would just add to it. So I think that could look really good. Overall, like, issues aside, so the issues suck. It is what it is. It was either I tell the guy no and cancel, or I still get a life-size endo with, for the most part, not too many visual issues. And, I save $15.50, which is reality, another 1/3 scale statue. So I decided to purchase it. I don't think I regret it looking at it now. It is definitely super badass. It is incredibly big, like, definitely the most presence in my collection. And these guns are so big. Now, the guns are definitely very cool looking. It's just simplistic. This is a movie from, 1992? But they still look really cool looking as like a laser gun. So, up close, it does have some pretty good detail all throughout. It's definitely like a battle-damaged endo, which does work considering, what I'm doing. Or that there is even more damage. So, I'm trying to decide what to do there. It's kind of annoying. It's broken right there. That's definitely a visual. If I lower this arm, I won't see that, though. So, I'm actually going to try that. But ideally, I want to try to hide and mask all damage. If I lower that gun, not only will it help so I can visually see the Pennywise base and none better, but then it will also hide that damage being in the back. So I think that might be the best solution, is having the guns lowered. Even though I think visually it looks cooler like this, and I actually would love to even have it even higher, but I think for the sake of my display, it's probably best to have it lowered. So let me just try that. Alrighty, so I'm trying this real quickly, and I think this might be better to honestly have that arm to the back. And if I want to arm up, this is the better one to have. Even though it is kind of a walking hazard, obviously, there's still so much walking space over here. But that might be the best. Because when I go right here, I can still see all the Pennywise and all this goodness. I can still see none even right here. So I think that actually might be the best option. So yeah, and then once we do this, I can't see that damage anymore, like I said. So the only damage I can still technically see is this. And if any of you guys have any suggestions on how to fix this, I need some sort of like silver Terminator plating, sort of. Maybe I can contact someone off like Etsy and have them print me something to go ahead and cover it. Or something just to match that. Ideally, some sort of cover. For right now, this little black thing is kind of like a temporary fix. I do love how the fact that this endo has so many display options with the guns, just because they are, like, if you were forced to display them always forward, that's honestly a big, it's 50 inches deep. That is like, who the heck has that type of space? Your average collector does not have that much space. So I would say in general, I do prefer the right arm to be up versus the left, but it's, just a preference. They both still do look good. And also my poster, right arm is up. I don't think I have enough ceiling height space to do it way up, although I haven't really tried it, but maybe I will. Let me see if I can even do it. You know what? It actually does work. Oh my goodness, that actually worked. So check that out. It almost hits the ceiling. So yeah, that's kind of crazy. And that actually prevents, because I don't like the double arm down look at all, but that actually looks badass. Look at that. Makes the presence like 8 feet high. Now, it is annoying because the thumb normally would be here. In addition, you can see like the rods holding this. But I think I do prefer that look. Now, I'm trying to think if I did that arm up high, it would definitely be blocking Pennywise. So I can't do that arm up high. It has to be this one. The thumb missing is not too big of a concern, though. It's not like the focal point. But it is cool seeing it that high. So I think I'm actually going to display it like this. It does make so when you view the endo from this direction, obviously you can't see it as much, because it's like blocking. But keep in mind, this is where I sit. So being here on my couch, that is sort of like the look. Yeah, I definitely like that. That's pretty awesome, I actually like that. I think I'll keep it like that. I do like it, the forward as well, but that also matches the poster, having an arm completely up. So I do wish that they gave you the option to not display a gun if you didn't want to. I think that would have been really cool. And I know some people have done some like modifications and removed a gun. The only way I could think of removing a gun, honestly, is completely remove, you'd have to like cut this metal off. And plus I think these fingers are like glued to the gun. So yeah. But let me show you, so the light up, you basically press this button, and even after you press it, now mine, again, this is a very old piece. There it is, it came out. It actually stays lit for an additional like 20 seconds, honestly, before it actually even goes out, and it like sort of like, it's like the Terminator dying, which is actually really cool, because this endo doesn't have that. Now you turn it on. This is a lot easier to turn on. You press that and then it just turns off. This one also has a removable brain. It's hard to do it with one hand, but you can remove that and then take out the actual chip, which I think is super cool. But this one does not have that feature, which I think, honestly, Sideshow should include that feature, because I just think it's extremely cool having this option. Yeah, so I love that. So cool. Now, one very cool thing about this bust, this one, yeah, there is no way. Now, I definitely need to take a duster to this. So, yeah, that is it. Overall, I still think this is the best life-size statue out there. Not my particular broken one, a fresh mint one would be. But based off all the life-size statues I've seen, even like Queen Studios Iron Man, I've seen Art Statue Collectors review, and it's based off visual coolness. Nothing beats an endo. I think maybe like a life-size Predator that with like extreme detail, even like silicone could. But we're never seeing that. But I would say this is, the best life-size to get. Just endoskeletons are so cool looking. Plus, this doesn't feel like just a suit. That's my problem with most life-size. They're lifeless. And I don't like lifeless statues. That's one reason I avoid museum poses in general. I want my statues to look like they're alive. And this does have that. Because it's not just standing up straight with arms to the side like this, all the Iron Man statues out there. This one, he's actually walking. He has posable arms. His head can move. So it brings motion and really makes this come alive. So I really like that aspect of this. So my biggest problem now, honestly, is space. I don't know where I'm going to put my Arnold bust, and honestly, even though I kind of want to keep my endo bust, even though I got the life size, just because there is some subtle differences, and this one's mint, no issues. The removable brain chip, I kind of want to just keep it, in all honesty. So I'm kind of considering where Red Sonja is at and Khaleesi, doing endo bust and arm, Arnold bust in 1/3, and making that a separate Terminator display as well. And this is just in life-size endo. Now, I know I could technically put Arnold right here, where Pennywise is at, then I'd have to move Pennywise. But, you know, I was planning to do Terminator just right here, but since I pre-ordered already Queen Alien Big Chap Bust, Prime 1 Alien Warrior, and Prime 1 Jungle Hunter, I'm definitely running into some space issues right now. So I really have to figure out how to do it. This is the best spot for the endo just because there's a lot of, walking space and depth right there. And I think I'm probably just going to keep it displayed like this, honestly. Having tried several ways, this is the best so a gun doesn't block anything. And it gives it the most presence. And I can still see everything visually perfect. So this is the way to display it for sure, for me. I think it saves on the most space and makes it look the coolest. Because I like the gun up and the gun down. I think that's really cool. My ceiling's about 8 feet, so this is, 8 feet tall. So let me put Queen Arnold over there and see, you guys can see how that looks. Alrighty, so here is Arnold next to the endo, and I do think they do pair really good, to be honest. They definitely look to scale, like that Arnold, based off his head size and that endo, I could see a meat of flesh going over that to form that. So I think they do pair very good together. This endo actually had a slightly bigger head than this one. So I don't know what's 100% accurate, so. But yeah, overall, now that I've finished this video, I am happy I got this. I am still annoyed at the damage, but at the end of the day, I only spent $3,500 on a life-size endoskeleton. So for that, I'll go ahead and accept the damage. And fortunately, for the most part, all of it is not visually, based off doing this, I can really only see 2 damage, the missing thumb and that. Everything else is covered. So nothing I can do about that thumb, honestly. Maybe I could have a thumb printed. I may look into that. And then that I'll probably look into be having something printed as well. Otherwise, there's nothing I can really do. But yeah, overall, quite happy to have a life size. I do not plan to buy any more life size. They are definitely very cool, but one and done for the flank cave. There's no boxes for this. I don't plan to, flip this or anything, sell it. I just want the life size endo. This is a lifetime purchase for me. I'll keep it forever till the day I die. So now the endo bust, I don't know if I want to sell that, to be honest. I kind of feel like I want to keep it to display with that arm, which technically is a thumb. Just break that off and put it there. I don't actually think this thumb, it wouldn't work flawlessly though. But that actually is a potential option. If that thumb could fit, I could buy an extra HCG, break the thumb off, and put it there. But yeah, overall, very, very cool. Maybe I'll see if Sideshow has extra arms they could just sell me. I would just buy 2 whole new arms. And yeah, I would do that. The hip part, trying to think, that would have to be the lower half they would have to sell me. I'll see if Sideshow has replacements, actually, because it's still kind of being made. But yeah, overall, very, very cool looking piece. Looks great in the collection. Definitely a piece that stands out. When you see that, definitely stands out. More than likely, I'll probably just be doing Terminator over here. The only other option is if I kind of did it right there. Did endo bust and arm underneath, Arnold bust in 1/3 above. Moved Annabelle under none, Chucky right there, Pennywise. The only place I think I could put Pennywise is right here. And then, I'd have to lower those back down there and do Myers, Leatherface, Ghostface all right there and actually move Chucky. That's quite the endeavor. That's why I don't know if I could move Pennywise. I'd have to try it. You know, Arnold would look good up there for sure. And I would actually lower the shelf if Arnold's up there. He doesn't need that extra height. I would lower it so his head is as tall as this Endo's head if I did that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Should we do that a Terminator only corner and move Pennywise? Or should we just do an Arnold next to the TV, next to Jurassic, which two of my favorite movies growing up I also think works good. Eventually I plan to have Cinema Cat and probably Dog Alien right here in the middle. For Alien and Predator space, I have to do that. But yeah, overall very cool. Happy to have it. Thank you to the seller. I think he's probably watching this video. But very, very cool. So hope you all enjoyed this video of the first life-size statue in the Flank Cave. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.